Hello, everybody. Welcome back to FNS Wrestling, and I'm starting it off this time because we're doing our Wrestlemania weekend preview.
That's right. We thought we'd switch it up. You did most of the
Because
work for this, so
It's so big and fat and ugly that we have to do it separately.
it is. So we're gonna do 2 recording sessions today. This one for Wrestlemania Stand and Deliver preview.
Also, yeah, to get out in a timely manner, considering if we were to do this or air it with the normal one, Stand and Deliver would be over because it's at 9 in the morning.
Right.
Tomorrow.
So we'd
it's
be
actually
making
weird.
predictions on our flagship show that'll be out tomorrow, but the stuff that already happened. So
Would be already happened and then soon happening.
Right.
Probably before most people listen to it.
So we're gonna try and fire this out on Friday, April 18th, a day ahead, and then we'll record our flagship show a bit later tonight. What are we at? Episode 248?
That is, yeah.
So that'll be coming out if you want to check that out. So I figure we should jump right into it.
Our banter will be later.
Yeah, we'll banter later. We
Or
actually
tomorrow.
have banterable things. I feel
Tomorrow?
like because we did stuff
Later?
yesterday.
Tomorrow? Same thing. What do we do? Oh, yeah.
We did things.
Yeah, right.
We'll talk about those things on our episode. So I guess in order, we would have to go with NXT Stand and Deliver first, correct? Which you don't watch NXT, but you're up on it because I watch it and talk about
that
it
and internet.
every week with you. You see clips sometimes, and you were, choosing my words carefully, in the room for the go home episode. I can't say you watched it.
I think what I paid most attention to is Javon.
Yeah, he's cool, right?
Yeah.
Javon and Jada, they're my 2 right now in that company. But so I am going to, I don't know the order of the matches, I guess.
You said you were including the pre-show match.
I am, so there's 7 matches.
You can include matches on your pre-show, apparently. I don't know if WWE knew that.
That they can, but they won't. And then
I'd rather that they do so that the 3-hour pre-show is at least something.
I almost rather they don't, because then I feel no inclination to watch it whatsoever.
I get that, and I do like that, but at the same time, it just bothers me that they have one and they don't have matches.
True.
If it's matches I don't care about, I'll just skip it all the same. But I feel like you should at least make it worthwhile for the people who do watch it.
True.
And especially because they have so many belts and crap to do.
They do.
Why not? The women's mid-card belts and one of the tag titles, for some reason, are not there.
Right.
So why wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you could, for sure. But then I might have to tune in and adds more time.
But it's not that big of a deal.
So
we
are going to do what we call certainty scores again, which were rendered moot because when we did it for Dynasty, because we both predicted every match correctly, because we're really good at this. I'm less confident for sure in Mania and Stand and Deliver.
I agree. So
the way it works, there are 7 matches on, for example, Stand and Deliver. So the most, you just broke Pete Dunne's leg off. The most certain you can be is 7 points, and the least certain you can be is 1 point. And so not only do we predict the winner of each match, but we apply a certainty score in the hopes that that will be the difference sometimes in who wins our prediction competitions between the 2 of us. Because then even if we pick the same winners and losers, at some point, there could be a different certainty score, although not when we pick everything correct. As we did 10 out of 10 last week, right?
10 for 10.
Was that last week? Week before? Whatever.
One of them.
So I'm going to go in the order I found. I don't know what site I looked at. This is the order they listed the card. It does start with the pre-show match. So that is the number 1 contenders fatal 4-way elimination match for the WWE Tag Team Championship shot, or number 1 contendership.
Oh, it's elimination.
Yes. Does that change your pick?
No.
It is Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. Who that team just formed. Perez wanted in. Ava was like, you need a partner. And then...
But then she didn't want a partner, so why'd she want in?
Cora Jade showed up. Well, she tried to say, I'll just do it on my own. And
but why did she want in if she didn't want...
I don't know why
you can see how that seems dumb.
And I thought she was on main roster, so I'm even more confused.
You can see how it's confusing.
But anyways, Perez and Cora Jade, Lash Legend, Jakara Jackson, the Meta 2, Fallon Henley, and JC Jane from, don't tell me, it is Fatal Influence.
That is the thing.
And Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley.
This is disappointing. Well, you know how much I thought I put into this one because I care so much.
Yes. So,
I was thinking about picking Perez and Jade because they made a whole stink about them being in this, or Perez being in this.
Okay.
But then I was like, I feel like the tag champs are gonna stay heels. More on that later. So I'm gonna take not Metaphor because they already had a shot. I'll take the weird ones.
You'll take Dolan and Paxley?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have also considered all the things you considered, and it may lead to me reconsidering my pick for a Mania match. I'll say that now. But I am going. Sorry, what was your certainty score?
1.
Okay. I'm also
I'm
a certainty score of 1, and I took Perez and Jade.
Okay.
Just because, and it might again affect a pick I make on Mania. I'm gonna have to revisit that
because she was gonna feud with Bailey.
I know. So does that mean, right? Anyways, because Lash and Jackson have had their chance, and they also have been putting other teams over lately, or at least a team over lately. Henley and JC Jane don't even really work as a tag team because it's been Henley as a single, so that's kind of weird. And then Dolan and Paxley, like, I don't know, what have they done? Paxley just got pinned on NXT this week. So I don't know. I really don't know, obviously, by my certainty score of 1, but I'll take Perez and Jade. Next, we've got, I think we're going to have a similar pick and similar points on this one. It's the 6-man tag team match, the D'Angelo family taking on Dark State.
I think it'd be stupid to have Dark State lose here. I don't think they've done an exceptional job with their presentation, but I think it'd be worse if they lose to a bunch of caricature mobsters.
Correct.
So I'm going to pick Dark State at a 6.
I also took Dark State with a certainty score of 6. Same reason. They are being booked really strongly right now, quote unquote. Depends how you feel about it, but they're trying, right?
Yeah.
And I think so. Stacks, right, is the underboss of the family. He's been having issues with Tony D. I think Stacks at least turns heel.
I don't think so.
And maybe at most is leading / part of Dark State. But I think the Stacks and Tony D thing is going to come to a head here, which might explain how Dark State wins and the family can sort of save face a little bit.
I don't know if he'll join Dark State. I could see them having issues, but I don't think he's Dark State. I think it's a trick.
It could be. They're sort of teasing. They keep having Dark State around while the main eventers do stuff, right? They do. Okay, so we both took Dark State for 6 there. NXT Tag Team Championship, Fraxium defending against Hank and Tank.
Yeah, I don't want Fraxium's run to end here, but it's been a while, and I've at some point you have to. I don't know who can stop them, because I personally would prefer OTM or No Quarter, like I was telling you. But they both have already lost to them, and I'm not sure if they want to go back to the well. Machine Guns and Lucha Bros could have been, but they both skipped NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Hank and Tank are solid. They're really popular, and they're not bad. I don't dislike them.
No, they're good.
They're just not as much my style, and I don't love them being Fraxium, but I feel like it's kind of time, so I'm not thrilled about it, but I'm going to take them at a 5.
At 5? Okay, I'm also taking Hank and Tank. I feel like the story has been...
Especially after the gauntlet.
Right, they just so they've took advice from veteran teams, have been losing for the last 3 weeks, just beat all of those teams in a gauntlet match, right? So avenged all of those losses. They're finally on a winning streak because they listened to the Street Profits and just are being themselves, which I have a bit of an issue with, and I'll talk about it when we review NXT tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like that has to be kind of the culmination of this story. And Fraser and Axiom have been not on the same page for a really, really long time, but it feels like even more so right now.
So yeah, I feel like they're kind of, you have to build that to a head too, right?
I think we're paying off the Hank and Tank rise, and I think we're paying off the Fraxium split,
or at least getting there,
stepping close to it.
Yeah.
So I took Hank and Tank, not as certain as you. I took 3 certainty score there. Next, we move into the NXT Women's North American Championship ladder match. Sorry, I didn't list the participants.
It was Lonnie, Thea, Lola, Izzy, Ruka, Zarya.
Thank you. Go ahead. What are you saying?
I'm not super up on this. There seems like there's a couple solid options, but for me, I don't think they'd bring Thea Hale back here for no reason, because you could have just brought her back, but I think bringing her back and putting her there is suspect, so I'm betting on her.
Okay. Certainty score?
4.
Okay. I think that Sol, Ruka, Zarya, they're going to further their story of
Ruka's also the prestigious speed champion now.
Right. So I think they're splintering that partnership at some point, so maybe that's a story they tell.
And those are probably the 2 other likely options I would have gone with, and maybe Lola.
Lola has been absolutely nowhere. So I know you could say so is Thea Hale, but Lola Vice has been in backstage segments and stuff that has zero traction.
Jordan already held the bell, and Izzy Dame feels kind of,
Right, agree. I don't think it's Dame. I don't think Lonnie's getting her second run yet. Hale came back conveniently. The crowd loves her. We could have a babyface champion, right? So I'm taking Hale with 2 certainty score on that one. I believe this will be our certainty score of 7 for both of us. It's NXT North American Championship, Ricky Saints, Ethan Page. Go ahead.
Yeah, Starks.
Page ain't winning.
Starks is not losing in his first match. So yeah, it's exactly as he said with a 7.
For sure. It is Saints. It is 7.
I straight up wrote Starks on mine, and I'm not changing it. I don't
Ricky
care.
Saints is not losing here. Ethan Page is the logical choice to as a challenger because he's been attacking Saints and he is good and capable of having a really good match. So that one was easy. NXT Women's Championship Fatal 4-Way. We've got Vaquer defending against Julia, Jordan Grace, Jada Parker.
I don't like. So it's weird. I don't think Vaquer should lose the belt so soon.
I don't either.
With Julia being injured, it kind of brings into question whether Vaquer was meant to win it in the first place.
True.
I don't think Grace gets it yet, and I think it's too soon for Parker. I think she should have been in the ladder match and maybe won that.
Right.
Like that feels like her spot right now.
Kind of feels like she's there to get pinned, no?
Could be, yeah. I'm going to take Vaquer. I think it would be better to have her keep running with the belt than have Julia just win it back.
Mm-hmm.
And Julia could also probably go up if they really wanted.
That's in my calculus as well. So certainty score for you?
2.
Also taking Vaquer with a certainty score of 5. A little more confident here. I think Grace and Parker spin off into something because it's not quite Grace's time yet.
Yeah.
I think Julia also might be headed to main roster, already had the title, and I don't think they want Vaquer losing the title. Julia can still look super strong and just not factor into the finish,
and they're doing the whole
right?
thing with how big it is for her being like the first Chilean champion or whatever, and they had the whole thing of her going back home. And
she's super over as a babyface, so I don't think they're taking it off of her. I am taking Vaquer with a certainty score of 5. Finally, it is the main event, I assume. It's the championship triple threat, Oba Femi defending against both Trick Williams and Javon Evans.
Based on my predicted ending, I feel like it should be the main event.
I think so.
I would really love for Javon to win just because I think he's awesome. I love his matches in the promo I saw when we were watching NXT. He was really good. He just
feels real. That's
he's
why I
really
love him and Parker.
Good for his age, right?
He is very
He has no shot here, though, if I'm being honest. I think Oba should retain, but he also kind of feels main roster ready to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you could honestly send him up after Mania and he would be fine.
Yeah.
Because I think he's like Breaker, where he seems tailor made for the main roster.
He does. Sorry, I'm fighting my cord under the table right now. I may stand up and make an adjustment.
I think Trick wins, and we get the reveal. He's the one leading Dark State. We could test out heel Trick, which yes, he's been healed before, but he's been healed before with Mello. So I think we need to they always love to test the waters in developmental, and having people do both, right? So you could have him do solo heel guy, him being the main heel guy before he goes up. Oba can move up to main roster, and then I think Javon can be built down the line to be the one to take down Trick, and then we get that eventually as well, and he can get the title then. But I'm going to say Trick wins, and we get the big reveal.
Certainty score?
My last one's 3.
So this will be a difference. I'm taking Femi to retain here. I think they are going to tell the story of Trick fully turning heel, whether he's leading Dark State or not, I don't know. But I think he doesn't win here yet. I don't know. I feel like, and they keep putting Femi in these multi-man matches, right? And he keeps looking good and he keeps winning. I kind of think that continues. I agree it's not Javon Evans' time yet, but we're keeping him in that main event orbit because he is right on the cusp of being in there, right? I think, and winning a significant title, but he feels like a better fit for North American for me right now.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think they probably push Saints up to the main title in NXT and maybe make room for Evans, but I'll take Femi. I'm not super certain. I set a certainty score of 4 because that's all I have left. All right, so let's move into WrestleMania Night 1, which is more you talking than me.
That will be, yeah.
So go ahead.
Okay, so starting off Night 1, we have what I'm super excited for is Jade Cargill wrestling by herself against Naomi, which is so exciting. So it feels pretty straightforward for me. I actually will say I saw one of Naomi's heel promos. I actually did kind of like it. I think there's some potential there.
I have enjoyed what I've seen as well.
But Cargo's clearly the pet project right now. There's zero chance they don't give her first big singles win at Mania, so I think Cargo has to win. I'd love for Naomi to do something of interest later on, like maybe get one of the mid-card belts or something. I think her new character's worth exploring, but we all know why she's here. And so I went with a 7 on this one because it's pretty straightforward.
Wow, okay. Here's our first controversial. I'm taking Naomi.
Really?
Certainty score of 2.
That's fair.
I'm
okay if you're right. I mean,
I don't know anything,
over,
but I'm going to say they're pleasantly surprised by Naomi as a heel and are like, maybe we keep this rolling. And at the same time, disappointed how Cargill is not developing.
You're putting too much hope into that.
I am.
You're
a lot of
that is a
hope in
gamble.
this.
That's a
But
dangerous
why
game.
not have Naomi win and then Cargill can still chase? Or
It's a dangerous
I was gonna
game.
say, what if Belair wins, but she's also kind of a heel right now?
Belair?
Yeah,
Really?
her promo was kind of like,
you could just switch it after. It could be circumstantial, right?
it almost seems like it is. But I'm going on a limb. I know it's Naomi.
is.
Certainty score of 2.
Yeah. All right. I do think the certainty score is pretty fair
Yeah.
for that kind of gamble. Okay, then we got LA Knight defending the U.S. title against our boy Jacob Fatu.
He is our boy, FNS favorite.
Yeah, we got to give Fatu his moment. I think he's easily been one of my favorite main roster guys in recent memory. Everything he does, I think he's awesome. The Knight experiment seems kind of over to me because they waited too long to give him his moment. And he's still over, just not like he once wasn't. So I think with Fatu, you guys strike while the iron is hot.
I agree.
I think people are starting to realize what we have with him.
I agree.
And I think they are too. I think Fatu has to get some real gold on him finally because he won the tag titles with Tama, but then he had to give up his half to Camacho. So
as one does.
yeah. I could see them not going with it though, so I'm going to certainty score of 3.
Okay.
But I do think it's Fatu's time.
It's Fatu's time. Knight is still over, but he feels like, what does the title add to that guy?
Yeah.
Although I
like
guess
they
you could say, what does it add to Fatu? But I think
it pushes because he needs to go
legitimizes
up,
him
right?
more.
Yeah, and he's up on towards the main event scene, I think.
And he's awesome. I don't know how good the match will be. Knight is
Serviceable.
I think a little better than serviceable, but not amazing.
Fatu's pretty good.
I think Fatu should win decisively. I went certainty score of 5, and then this guy in the new year, meaning the WWE season, they start to strap the rocket to him, as they say, right?
Yeah. Then we got Lucha Exhibition in Rey Mysterio against hot new prospect El Grande Americano.
Yep.
I might be going on a limb here, but I feel like the hot rookie Americano has to get the win here. He's been booked strong, and why stop now?
I don't think that's been consensus in the wrestling world, but
I think it'd be perfect if we could get Gable in his corner out there, because I feel like, Mysterio's going to have the LWO out there.
That's right.
And so I think
Gable makes an appearance.
Yeah, well, if Gable can't wrestle on the show, I think it'd be nice to have him out there.
He deserves a Mania payday, too.
He deserves a Mania payday.
And he's not getting one so far.
Yeah.
He's nowhere on this card.
He's not on the card at all, so I feel like we should give Gable some sort of Mania bit here. But yeah, I'm going to take El Grande Americano. And because I feel like there's more juice in this. I think it's really funny. And on a serious note, I was thinking about this too, because I saw something about, remember the Owens angle with Ezekiel and Elias, and how stupid that was?
Yeah.
And I think this one works so much better.
This
and
one's
it's weird
fun.
because it's fun.
This is the comedy I want in wrestling.
It's also more feasible because he's wearing a mask.
And
it's not like you can literally see it's the same person.
Right.
And he's just being, it's because also Gable's really entertaining. Elias, when he just becomes Ezekiel, he's just boring.
And not that it matters, but my God, is Americano and Gable, to be fair, they both are incredibly shredded right now.
Yeah.
So jacked.
And it's just I don't know, it's just such a better done version of that same kind of angle.
So are you taking, what was your score, sorry?
4 for Americano.
Okay, I'm taking Americano as well. I think the consensus, or the common sentiment at least, is kind of Mysterio wins and unmasks, but I think
it's way too soon to do that.
I think maybe that was the plan, but I also think they're seeing how people are enjoying this and are like, we're not doing this yet.
I don't think you can
do that. This has
right
legs,
here.
As you're saying, right?
And it's also, I feel like it's different. I think, yes, it has legs. And it's also different if it was a mask versus mask match.
Agreed.
Then that feels like the payoff. But I feel like...
Because we've never seen Rey Mysterio's face.
Yeah. But I think that could be our big payoff and the big reveal, as if it's worth anything. So I can imagine that everyone being like, "Oh my God, it is Chad Gable."
It can't be.
No, it's not. But
I took Americano certainty score of 1 because I'm not.
Okay.
Certain.
What was my 1? Okay, I see. I think I have good reason for my being a 1. I think it's funny. Next we got War Raiders defending the World Tag Titles against the New Day. I feel like it's pretty easy. They don't really seem to care about tag teams, so the story's not super deep. And even so, I feel like they have minimal investment in the New Day at least, but they've never really seemed to care about the War Raiders. Just in general, ever since they came to main roster, they don't seem to care about them.
It's almost like, hey, you guys were almost done with wrestling. Here's a little cookie for you for coming back from serious injury.
The New Day also need to be legitimized at some point after that heel turn.
That they wasted so badly.
Yeah,
Talk about dropping the ball.
Taking them with a 5.
I took them with 7. I don't know why the New Day wouldn't win. They've been the sort of the focus of this. again, they botched their heel turn because that segment was absolutely amazing. And then it was just them coming out and not saying anything for weeks and then really not getting into anything important and never mentioning Big E ever again.
Yeah.
So I think it's time they do something with them. Again, they don't really seem to care about the War Raiders or that division. So I said New Day 7.
Then we got Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for
This
the
one was
women's
tough.
title. I agree. There's typically a Charlotte effect because we're always like, oh, it's WWE, it's Charlotte.
And
They're gonna have
my
Charlotte
rule
win.
for a while was like, I just don't
It's
pick
just
against
Charlotte,
her on
yeah.
pay-per-views.
But I feel like
PLEs.
Triple H listens to some degree, and also the fan sentiment towards Charlotte has been way harsher than usual. And I think Tiffany needs a big win, so I'm gonna say she wins. But because of the Charlotte effect, I'm going with the score of 1.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think
I don't trust them fully, but I do have enough faith to say like I think that we can go with the smart route.
I think a win here does nothing for Charlotte.
No, and I would have said the same when she beat Ripley at 36, right?
It
like
really doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything, but she still won that.
You're
And
right.
that just proves the point though, is that
You're
like
right.
she can get wins like that and it really doesn't mean anything. And it's just gonna piss people off.
But I think that they understand they have something with Stratton. I don't think she's a super strong babyface, but she had no choice going against Charlotte here because Charlotte is not likable.
I think that's so funny that they thought Charlotte could be the babyface.
So Stratton 3 certainty score for me. I just think that there's no logic. Not that logic applies a lot of times here to Charlotte winning there.
Next we have Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight title.
If you listen to our podcast, you know our thoughts on this already and who's going to win it, but we'll formalize it here.
How we feel about it.
Yeah.
I really hate to pick this, but it has to be Jey. I don't think anything of him as a wrestler or a star. I don't think he's a good single star by himself. I don't think he's a good wrestler. I don't think he deserves to be world champion on any merit of his own other than getting over with an outdated meme of a word and being a walking caricature.
He is.
With that being said, the story they've told, and I said this to you, the story they've told with him being beaten down over and over and Gunther berating him for not being good enough and then beating the tar of his brother.
Which was awesome.
The story logically dictates that the valiant babyface Jey would win. I don't think he should win based on his skill or star power or talent or anything like that. I just think the story would be a complete waste of time if we don't get the payoff. I don't know why I don't have my score here. What is my leftover number? I can't even tell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it a 6? I feel like it's a 6 because I don't see a 6. Because I have 2.
You're taking Uso with 6?
I think. I have a 2 done. I have a 1. I have a 5. I have a 4, 3, 7. So it seems like a 6. So yes, I will be a 6 because like I said, I will reiterate this one more time. His skill does not warrant anything he's been given over the last year. It does not warrant his Intercontinental run. It does not warrant a Rumble win. It does not warrant this match here. However, the story being told dictates he needs to win, and I do agree with that. I don't like that for Gunther, but it's how it has to be.
So imagine a world where WWE important people, other than Jey Uso being incredibly over, have realized that he is not a main eventer because he's not in the main event here. And just think what it would do if Gunther just kills him and retains. Like now Gunther he's already a star, but like I'm not picking Gunther, but like imagine like he just destroys him like he destroyed Jimmy.
I would love it. Selfishly, I would love it.
But I'm taking Jey Uso, certainly score of 6.
Yeah.
Not happy about it. I'm not happy for Gunther because he's awesome and has done nothing wrong other than this guy caught fire at the right time, and I don't know. Luck. We'll see. Gunther can drag him to a good match, right? Maybe. That'll be the ultimate feather in Gunther's cap, maybe.
Yeah. Then we have our main event, which is Punk, Rollins, and Reigns.
I'm interested to see what you pick
definitely
here.
The hardest one to pick. I think you kind of mentioned it to me, and I thought it was smart.
Damn
it could really go in any direction. I feel like it's probably the least likely Roman. I think of the 3 options, I think it's the least likely Roman.
Okay.
I mean, with the Heyman thing, Roman's been so butthurt by that. I guess you could have Heyman turn on Punk.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It feels least likely to be Roman because he doesn't really need it.
I agree.
And you could have Punk either get his moment or give Rollins the win. I think they've made Heyman a key component here, which is interesting to note. There's so much drama with him between Roman and Punk, which has next to nothing to do with Rollins. Rollins is here because he's feuding with them, but it has nothing to do with the Heyman business until recently. And so I feel like Heyman turns on both the guys, helps Rollins, when we get a mega heel Rollins
Took
run.
my storyline, eh?
Yeah. And I think he could take the title perhaps from Jay.
Yeah.
And we'll talk someone else could.
Sorry, what was your certainty score then?
2, I think, is my leftover number.
We'll talk about it more on 248 when we review Raw, but I thought Rollins did a really good job of kind of presenting to Heyman like neither of these guys are really super
and that's
great to
again
you.
pushing it towards
like he's done that for a couple weeks now. Maybe that's the red herring though. It's too obvious now because I see a lot of people as I was doing stuff before this picking Rollins, which I don't think was the case a couple weeks ago. Obviously, I'll listen to us and our thoughts, but I agree. I think it sets up that, and I think that's great for Rollins. I think like yes, he's already a main guy, but it maybe even elevates him more because Punk finally gets his WrestleMania main event and Rollins is the one that beats him. But like I said, I also think Punk is like main event for me is main eventing for the title. So he'll probably try and maybe that's a long program and he faces Rollins for a title next year. I don't know. I am taking Rollins. I think it does come down to the whole Heyman. That's such a huge storyline that I think the most interesting way to go with Heyman is to have him choose neither of his buddies.
And choose a new one, yeah.
So I agree. I'm taking Rollins, and the only score I have left is 4.
Okay.
Taking us to Mania Night 2.
Night 2. We kick off with Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, which has been made a Sin City street fight. So at least
I saw that.
Interesting.
That's just a street fight, I assume. It's
just a street fight.
Okay.
It's like when they had Big E and Apollo Crews in 2021. It was a Nigerian drum fight, which was basically just a street fight, but tables had some drums.
Maybe they'll have like casino props around, although that's kind of gimmick infringement.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah.
I really hope McIntyre wins. I just don't feel like it's going to go that way. I feel like they're going to give Priest the win, big win, because he's the babyface. And I feel like they still want to try with him. I think he's kind of blows as a top star, but, he's
mediocre, I think.
If it's me, I'm building Drew, but I doubt it. So I'm taking Priest at a 3. I'm not like overly confident, but I just don't have confidence they would take Drew.
I took Drew with a certainty score of 4. I really am kind of out. I don't watch SmackDown, and sometimes I keep up with stuff on clips or whatever, and this is one I don't really know, so I am just mostly going on what I want to happen, because I'm the same, like, Priest is a totally fine, like, mid-card champion to me.
I don't even want him as a champion.
McIntyre is a freaking star and can main event for you.
McIntyre is the top guy, and Priest kind of blows.
Drew should win, so I'm picking him with 4 as my score.
Yeah, all right. Then we got AJ Styles versus Logan Paul, which is a little tough to me, but I'm leaning towards Styles. He's only just come back. Like, it feels pretty recent still.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he needs that first big win back because he hasn't really done much. Like, the most notable thing he did last year was lose to Cody a couple times.
Yeah.
I think that he could win here and then be primed for a program against heel Cena.
Yeah.
For the title. And we could run that feud back, but now with the dynamic reverse, which I think would be really cool because it was Styles' first feud. And so it could be one of Cena's, or not his first feud, but it was like one of his first feuds, so it could be one of Cena's last.
Yeah.
And so I think that'd be really cool. So I think Styles wins. I don't think Paul gets overly hurt by a loss.
No.
Because he can lose sometimes and he'll be fine because he's not overly present.
And maybe he's hitting his move so much because he's not going to hit it on me.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
It does look great.
He's gone
I don't
up.
like how much I like that move.
He's gone up on AJ.
He has
times,
every
right?
week.
So there's that too. So I'm going to take Styles at a 4.
Okay.
Because I just feel like it makes more sense and we could get that program going post-Mania.
I'm taking Logan Paul with a 1, though.
That's fair.
I just think they don't have plans for AJ Styles. I think there's been talk about him.
I think this is the only time to have a plan for him.
I feel like there's been talk of him retiring soon. Like
he said 50. At 50, but he's 47.
I know, so I just feel like they're like,
oh wait, 40. That's really old.
This guy's window so young, so young. This guy's window is closing. Logan Paul's is just opening. I'm sure these guys will work out a pretty good match.
I'm sure the match will be great.
I think Paul goes over because he's full-time now, and they're going to start building this guy into a main eventer, however we feel about him. I'm taking Paul, but not very confident.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Then we got Randy Orton versus question mark. I don't have no idea who he's going to face. The rumor mill and the storyline, like, because Orton's mentioned, suggests Aldis.
You totally made me pick this one with what you were like, he was going to win anyways. So.
Yeah, for me, I'll roll. I'm going to assume it's Aldis, for example. I feel like Orton would have beaten Owens anyway, so I'm going to say Orton wins, but I'm picking at a 1 because realistically they could pull something out of their asses.
I went a high certainty score, so I'm taking Orton with 6.
Okay, interesting.
I just feel like I don't know, and part of it is because I just think that's Randy Orton. He's going to be like, hell no, you're not throwing a random opponent in and have them beat me.
I could see that.
I'm going to say Orton with a certainty score of 6, but I don't know why.
One of the more straightforward picks, I wrote Raquel Gonzalez. That's crazy.
I do that sometimes. That's
I
my
just did-
that's
I
my
straight up
gimmick.
Did that. Hold
That's
on.
gimmick
I'll
infringement.
fix that real quick.
Because I get confused as to what it is, honestly.
I don't. That's the weird part. It's her and Liv Morgan defending the tag titles
This is the
against
one I
Bailey and
might
Lyra.
switch.
It's one of the more thrown together efforts at Mania. Like Bailey and Lyra aren't even a team, so I'm gonna take Judgment Day because
All right.
I think the respectful feud with the babyfaces is lame. I think Bailey turns heel to juice that feud post Mania.
Yep.
And make Bailey interesting again because Bailey sucks right now in
She
terms
does.
of not in ring stuff. Like she's a good wrestler, but in terms of character, she blows.
Yep.
So I think we need to make her interesting again, and then Judgment Day can defend against whoever wins the NXT.
Sorry, what was your score?
6.
So I'm switching this one right now because I took Roxanne and Cora Jade on Stand and Deliver. I'm switching to Bailey and Lyra Valkyria. I think they like Lyra. Even though character-wise, she's not very interesting.
They love to give the singles champions the tag titles, and
it's going to be a can they
non-teams.
coexist? Because I feel like Bailey's doing a sort of, she has a problem with Lyra being the champion, so she can do her stuff with Roxanne as well, right? There's a lot of storylines going there.
I'll stick with mine.
Liv and Raquel aren't really doing anything. Those titles don't really mean anything, so they can easily just shuffle them off to a babyface team that's struggling to coexist in a little bit. So I said Bailey Lyra as of now with a certainty score of 3.
Yeah, that seems likely. Okay. I'll stick with mine though.
Attaboy.
Then we get the Intercontinental title match, Breaker, Penta, Balor, Dom. I think this one could go a couple different ways, but I think it's safe to eliminate Balor because he literally never wins. In the last 2 years, he's had 2 singles wins, so there's that. That apparently includes house shows, so that's the saddest thing I've ever heard. I feel like it's going to be a title change one way or another, so eliminates Breaker too. I think he's ready for something else.
You know my pick already.
I threw up Rollins, but I feel like he could also be someone who beats Jay. He doesn't need the Money in the Bank, but imagine him like sprinting down with the briefcase and then just gutting Jay.
Cutting him in half.
Like, I feel like there's something to be said for that. So that is Penta and Dom. Penta seems kind of likely because he's the hot new thing other than El Grande Americano.
Obviously.
But I feel like they want to do the lucrative tag run with him and Phoenix, the merch opportunities.
I just don't think Penta needs the belt right now.
I don't think he needs the belt.
Doesn't need it.
But I think they're going to give him the tag belts with Phoenix.
Yeah.
And put them on the same show after the draft.
Because those are meaningless anyways.
Yeah. So that leaves me with Dom. He's been one of their top heels, if not the top heel, for the last few years. He's improved in the ring. He's still got some ways to go, but he has improved. And it serves a story with him and Balor. I think he pins Balor somehow, which also protects Breaker losing the belt.
Agreed.
Maybe we have some new members.
Maybe
screw Balor over because Dom's been pro new people, right?
Rusev?
Could be, actually.
I heard he's showing up.
And so I think Dom wins, and I'm taking that at a 5.
That's been my thought for quite a while, right? Is that Dom wins this. He's going to look awesome with a championship belt and be such a douchebag champion.
I think so, and I think we need to actually trial a main roster title run for him.
And I think, like we've talked about before, Breaker's ascending, so this is a way to get the title off him. He won't be involved in the finish.
Penta cannot win, but not lose.
Penta as well doesn't have to be involved in the finish, and he doesn't need a title right now. He can easily ride off just being super awesome for quite a while longer. The Balor Dominic thing's going to come to a head here. Probably Balor takes the pin, as I think you're suggesting too. So it's Dom, and I'm saying 5 is my certainty score.
Right. Then we get the women's world title match.
Mm-hmm.
I need to add a word.
This one I'm still kind of up in the air.
I'm very not confident in this one. My score will reflect as
Same.
such. It's Io, it's Rhea, it's Belair. I feel like Rhea doesn't win because I feel like people are being kind of annoyed with her in certain
because she's supposed to be a babyface, but she's not.
I feel like she should be the heel, not
she's
Belair.
She's the whiny
pseudo heel. Yeah, it's like a Charlotte thing, but not that bad because obviously we like her, but you know what I mean.
And Belair's kind of not wrong. She's like, I've done what I'm supposed to do to get here.
Yeah,
and all she's doing is saying, I want a shot.
And Rhea was just champion, and for a lot of her time as champion, and before she got injured, she wouldn't defend the title. And then her last title run was pretty short. Like I feel like we don't need her as champion again. Io hasn't held the belt for that long, so I feel like her dropping would be lame. But I also like to see another run for Belair. I'm kind of torn.
Me too.
Belair's undefeated at Mania.
That is in my calculus.
I'm going to pick her, and then we could either get a title program with Jade or Naomi, depending on which way you want to flip Belair. So I'm going to take her at a 2.
So I'm kind of in the same boat. Ripley, I'm not even really, I don't think she's winning. the way the story's been told, with them completely dismissing Io every week after week after week,
That's
it
another
feels
thing
like
to
you
consider,
need
yeah.
to say Io wins. But I don't. I really think they like this Belair doesn't lose at Mania thing. I
It
think
could
they're
be a new
building up.
Undertaker thing.
I think they are building up a streak for her. I'm confused whether she's heel or face. I feel like her promo this week on Raw was her kind of being like, "You're seeing a different version of me," which
But
was
it
like,
could just be for this feud. And
It
either
could.
way, then if she can feud with Naomi or Jade,
right.
depending on her
That's true.
alignment, right? You kind of have the option.
So Io's my favorite women's wrestler, maybe ever. I think she's fantastic. I think she's the best in ring of all these three. But I am gonna take Belair, certainty score of 2 as well. But really hoping it's Io because I love Io. But it feels, and again, I don't like that she's been dismissed, like literally pie faced by these women week after
Repeatedly,
week,
yeah.
and then she's gonna lose. Like the story should be,
Yeah.
you guys forgot about me. I'm better than you. I won, but I don't think so.
Doesn't feel like it, right?
No.
Yeah, and then so finally we come to Cody versus Cena for the WWE title. Cody's had a long run, one that I don't think has really delivered, given the grandiose fashion in which he won it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as time has come, I think this is Cena's year, and I think off the back of that crazy heel turn, Cena needs to win the title, go in the big run we're all anticipating, and he can pull off a reverse 2011 Punk where he's going to try to run away with the title, except this time we can drag it out like they should have done with Punk. And we can spend the rest of the year trying to find someone who can get the title back before he retires.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be the Cena wins lull, but we're all looking forward to it. So I'm taking Cena at a 7.
So I also took Cena at 7. I mean, there is a universe where they don't want him to break Flair's record as heel.
I think they do, though.
Because he's also saying he's going to take the title away. So
but like,
are they going to let that happen?
I think then that's the story you're telling for the rest of the year, is that like he's taking away, maybe he won't be here as often, but then you have like, because I know Backlash is in St. Louis, so that's Orton, right?
Yeah.
You have Orton lining up, you have Styles lining up, you have
that's true.
Punk. I think Punk could actually be the one to beat him, which I don't really want.
Sneak
but
Braun
it kind of makes
Breaker
sense.
in there somewhere.
You got a Breaker in there, but like you could have all these people stepping up, and like you could have people even try with the Money in the Bank, hypothetically. And like I don't think they're doing King of the Ring, so that's not a title shot.
I also think like Cody's run's been long, and people are seeming to fatigue of it.
Yeah,
so
some people are losing interest in it.
I am taking Cena for 7 as well.
Yeah.
I am pretty certain, but I don't know. So I guess that wraps that up. That's good. We're coming in under 40 minutes. I like that length. Check it out. Let us know what you think. If you agree, disagree in the comments. Give us your predictions if you'd like to. We will be back down here today, but you'll see it tomorrow for episode 248. We hope you check that out too. We'll be talking about NXT, AEW, and Raw, as we always do. Some news, some trivia. We also recently reviewed AEW Dynasty on last week's show, which was had some pretty great matches on it. Pretty excited to talk about a Dynamite match on 248. So we'll be here for that. Come back tomorrow and check it out. Thanks for spending some time with us. Till then, take care, everybody.